Hi, I'm Mike Crabb.
And I'm Lori Schultz. Welcome to the show.
We'll have some caffeinated conversation.
And maybe some special guests along the way.
Who knows where the conversation will go? You're out for coffee with Mike and Lori. Hello, everyone, and welcome out for another... No, I did it again, Lori, didn't I? Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Out for Coffee. I'm
with Mike and Lori.
So for those that are maybe missed our last episode, I've apparently been introducing the whole, I guess it would be a little way back now. I've been introducing this show not correctly, even though it's our show. And we're how many episodes in? Lori is quick to remind me that English is important.
English teacher.
But I'm glad that you are all out joining us for a nice cup of coffee. How are you, Lori?
Mike, I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, thank you. It's been a good day.
I brought a different mug today.
What do you got?
I don't know if you read it.
Some days you're the chupacabra, some days you're the goat. Yes. What are you today?
Meh.
I think it's more about meh. I think it needs to go lower.
At least I'm not screaming. I have that as one of my cell phone rings and it freaks people out. And
a screaming goat.
Yeah, I do. But Mike, we're not here to talk about that today.
No, we're not. We have a very exciting episode today, don't we?
Yeah, it's a big day. It's a great big day.
Ooh.
What I did?
I did. Tell us a little bit about what we are doing today.
Okay, this is kind of a big deal. I know I've alluded to it in the past that I was really hoping that this would be a possibility someday for us. And the day is now. The day is here. Today, we have two guests with us today. And we have one of the co-founders of Great Big Sea, Séan McCann, and his wife, Andrea Aragon, who are the authors of the book, One Good Reason. And they are here with us today. Rob, bring them on.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing today, folks?
We're doing good.
Doing fantastic. How are things in Woodstock, Ontario?
Things are sunny. They're beautiful. They're great here today.
Gorgeous day. I know, gorgeous.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Heat warning for tomorrow, but that's tomorrow.
Is it?
We'll worry about that then.
Yeah, we'll worry about that tomorrow.
Don't complain. I was just in Newfoundland for 9 days and it didn't get above 7.
Oh.
Average temperature was 2.
Yeah,
in June.
In June, there was frost warnings for 5 of those days.
Is that typical?
Yeah, that's not in the tourist brochure, but that does happen, and it can happen. So when you go to Newfoundland, you gotta allow for 2 full weeks just so you can make sure you don't get stuck in one of those fog warps.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Well, we're glad that you're cozy at home tonight and taking this opportunity to chat with us. And we're very grateful for the opportunity because we've shared with our audience that, Séan, you're going to be doing a concert here in Woodstock at Theatre Woodstock, Market City Center.
My second appearance.
Yes.
And had me back.
Yeah, we're so grateful that you're willing to take the opportunity because when Lori and I went to see you on your first trip to Woodstock here, I had such a wonderful experience, and you are an incredibly talented performer and a wonderful storyteller, and I'm very excited to be able to be a part of it again.
I'm just excited to be asked back a second time. No one's ever done that before. The first time I've ever been asked back.
Lori's a good stalker. Yeah.
So that's a relief for me and a new thing that repeat business is not something we know well.
Oh,
well, somehow I don't buy that, but we'll go with that for now. Actually, you know who asked? You know who asked for you to come back, Séan? Was the ghost of that young man in the dressing room.
There's issues, yeah. There's a few rooms like that, but that was, we had a little friend for sure.
Yeah.
Visitor.
And that just adds to my credibility because I'm always telling people how haunted the theater is, and people are like, "Yeah, okay, Lori," and I'm like, "Yeah, but even Séan McCann saw one." So.
Yeah, no, there's something going on there. We were actually in Kingston last week, and there was we weren't alone there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You and I did a One Good Reason event.
Yeah.
In the Chalmers United Church in Kingston, and again, we didn't know there was a history of of odd things happening there but odd things happened to me.
Yeah, during the show.
During the show, like really weird things. And at the end, they're like, you know what? There's someone else.
What was happening to you?
The light started to reflect off my guitar in a weird way, and I couldn't see the the frets. So one song I had to kind of like, it's like I couldn't play guitar for a couple of bars. I figured it out.
So all of this is really an excuse for him missing
For bad playing,
a
really.
bunch of notes.
And then
Let's
Yeah.
be real. Like,
I screwed up, and I want
It
to
was a
blame
ghost.
a spirit.
It was a ghost.
But then we had this big meltdown with the gear, and my guitar wouldn't work, and we were unplugging this and that and the other thing. And after 5 minutes of like, okay, we're going to just have to get another guitar, I looked down and my simple volume button was turned off on my guitar. And that's never like, I know that's the first thing you should check, but it's never happened before. And it was a sign of mischief, really, I think.
Or a sign of somebody
Or complete incompetence
getting
by
a
the
little
musician.
long in the tooth. And perhaps he's forgetting some things now.
One of two.
No, it's mischief. Mischief. It's definitely mischief.
It's spiritual mischief.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It's not old age.
I think
Definitely not.
We're
that.
striping out here. Hang on, I'm going to try
we're
and turn off the
striping out.
stripes.
Oh, it's a vibe though. There you
Is
go.
that better?
Right.
Do you guys
Okay.
have any activity in your house?
We did in our old house.
Oh yes, in St. John's,
St.
Newfoundland. It was an
John's.
old house, yeah, and we were not alone
It
there.
was horribly haunted.
Oh.
Oh,
Like
wow.
horribly haunted on all
Like-
3 levels.
Well,
Yeah,
like
you
what
had to
kind of
get
thing
it.
would happen?
Well, we used to. Our son Keegan was constantly being woken up.
When he was a baby, he was in his crib still, and he would just be being like terrified. It was I can't, there's too many. So Sean used to travel, 300 days a year, 250 days a year. And so I'd
Yeah.
be there by myself with Keegan, because we just had the one at the time. And it was all kinds of stuff.
Well, you had to get it.
Cupboards opened. No, it's a really old house. It's
Oh no.
really, really old house.
There was a woman and her daughter were still in the house, essentially.
Right.
And,
You were
We
in their
were.
house.
We were in I was putting stuff away in my closet, and these closets, I don't know if you, in the old houses, the closets are like this deep. There's nothing to them, right?
Yeah.
Right. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
even like get a coat hanger in there practically because they're so shallow,
And so I
right?
was kind of like going like this through, and there was a door, like a small door. You opened it up, and there was like a bed, like a child-sized bed, and a couple toys in there. Like he had never seen it. He'd
Okay.
been in there for
no,
5-6 years, and he'd never seen this. And I was like,
Oh my god.
oh my God, this was in our bedroom.
that's very,
Oh,
very creepy.
that's
And
so
it was a turn of
unsettling.
history. Yeah, it was the house was 110 years old when we got it.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
some
Oh my
stuff was
goodness.
going on.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm sure we could talk about that kind of thing for
Yeah.
the whole night.
Lori
Maybe we'll
certainly
have you
could.
back for another time to investigations with Jean and
Right.
Andrea. But
Paranormals, yeah.
yeah, but speaking of the theater, Sean, you're coming on the 23rd of September. And I know like we're recording this in June for the people who are just watching this, but we're going to show this to our audience in September.
Oh, good.
And so that's the 23rd. But Andrea, the same day, you're going to be in London, correct?
Yeah.
At
Yep,
the
we're gonna-
London
the
Recovery Breakfast.
Yep, the London Recovery Breakfast, which is.
And what are you doing there?
She's
Well-
the headliner.
I am a keynote speaker there.
Well, look at
Ta-da!
that. A true
Who
team.
knew?
Well, but that's kind of almost like full circle, right? Like Sean, that's pretty much where the big part of your story started, right? The big part of this whole journey
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started there. 2014 was my first London Recovery Breakfast, and that was where I chose to disclose about my own personal history of sexual abuse and get into the whys of why people drink and use drugs, and everybody uses for a reason.
Right.
But it's funny that we chose to do this book, One Good Reason, together because
Shameless plug.
yeah,
No,
because
it's great.
we wanted to. I had written the whole book, and that's those truths were in it, but it didn't account for the impact of my addiction on my family. And Andrea was there for all of it, every second of it. And she had kept a journal in real time, so we wanted to include her voice in this, and because it tells the other side of the story.
Right.
And that's why she's headlining the London Recovery Breakfast this year.
Yeah, their focus this year is on family. And so it's
Okay.
what the part that I am really passionate about is about how addicts, the addiction just doesn't happen to the addicts. It happens to everybody in their circle. And, but they're not aware of it usually because they're in the addiction. So there's all this other stuff happening that they don't know about. And we're going through that too. So that's kind of the story that I'm going to be bringing to London. And I'm going to have, Sean might be accompanying me. We'll see if I let him maybe sing a song or two.
Fair.
You're allowed to sing a couple of songs, maybe 3.
We'll see. Depends.
I will
Depends on how I
carry
feel.
your suitcase.
You'll be my roadie.
I'll be your
Well,
driver.
what a great opportunity, though, for you to have an opportunity to share your story and help others not only learn from it, but hopefully grow from it as well, too. So when I had the opportunity to listen to your book, I got it on Audible and I was able to listen to it. I have actually Lori's copy here, too, because I wanted to go through because there's some beautiful photos and stuff in here that I really wanted to see as well, too. But what I really enjoyed about the book was that you both share your perspective. So yes, it's the perspective of trauma and addiction and growth and recovery, but also on the other side, what it is to be that person who loves that person who is going through those things and kind of the struggles and challenges that entails, but also the life-saving reality of what that brings as well too. So I really enjoyed the book, and your love story is. You have such a beautiful love story. I'm glad that you were able to share that.
Yeah, marriage is the one night stand that never ends, really.
I like that. Yeah.
Can I just throw, I got to throw something in here, Andrea. I have to tell you something. You were talking in the book about a night that you had driven to London
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
to be in the front row. And I believe it was the John Labatt Center at the time.
Was that what it was?
It's-
Yeah, I don't
It's
even
called
know.
the Budweiser Gardens now.
Right, some
But you were
arena.
in the, yes, you were in the front row of this show. That was what, 2002, you said?
Yeah, yep.
In and around there,
Yep,
2002?
yep. Would have been 2002.
Well, funny enough,
Were you in
I
that
was also in the front row
Were you
of
really?
that very show. You and I could have
Well,
been shoulder to shoulder that
I
day.
wasn't in the front row. I was behind the barrier, but kind of like off to the side looking and being like, where
Okay.
am I? What is happening right now? Because I saw him in Colorado.
She saw us in front of 300 or 400 people, and then she saw us in front of 3,000 or 4,000, which
Yeah,
is a bit of a different.
300 or 400 people who didn't know who they were and were like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's have a good time. Woohoo. Then I go to this place and I'm like, where am I? What just happened?
People-
Who are you?
People know these guys here.
Right.
Yeah, that's so funny though. Small
But I
world, man.
laughed out loud when I was reading this book, and I'm like, oh my God, I was at the same place at the same damn time.
I had on Sean had given me an all access pass, and he's like, now just make sure you keep it on and don't let anybody, take it or grab it. And I was like, please, like you are really thinking a lot of yourself. This is what I was going through my head. I was like, okay, you go do your little performance, again, have no concept where I am. And as I'm walking through the crowd, people are like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? I was like, what?
Mhm.
What's going on? You just feel like you're in a different world. Anyway, it was really funny.
Take you out, take your pass.
Right.
I just wanted to share something as a little bit of a throwback, and I hope this is endearing and not creepy. Okay?
We will let you know.
Buckle your seatbelt.
All right. June 1996.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I remember the shirt, too.
All right, wait now.
Shirt doesn't fit me anymore.
no.
September 1996.
Oh my
How come I'm
God.
the
drunk
shop-
in every photo?
Right.
Is there a sober photo of me?
This was November 1999 at Centennial
Yeah.
Hall in London.
Not sober. Definitely not sober.
Uh,
God, these are
this
great.
was This was 1998
Oh,
at Centennial Hall. A ticket that I kept,
no.
and this was my very first Great Big Sea concert at Lee's Palace in Toronto in March of 1996.
Wow. Fantastic. March 16th, the day before Patty's Day. I'm sure that was a
A
sober
super
event.
fan or stalker?
I'm telling
Right.
you, you've got at least $25 worth of memorabilia right there.
eBay, here I come.
Right?
some cool
Cha-ching,
photos,
girl.
though, yeah.
Cha-ching.
I just
All
hope
I
that's
see
not
is drunk
creepy
me,
at all.
though.
Right.
Oh,
Good share.
well,
Nice show and tell,
thanks.
Lori. That was nice.
That's
was
okay,
good.
Sean. All I see is thin me, so we're good.
The I remember the shirt actually. I don't know if I still had it.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
I think it was actually Daryl's shirt.
That's even
It
better.
wasn't even my
Okay.
shirt.
That's even
But speaking
better.
of Daryl,
Yes.
I have seen over the last few days, now again, this is in June, not
Yeah.
September, some of your social media posts
Yeah.
where you have been hanging out.
Hanging
I
out.
saw
I
a
was
post
in
with you with
Newfoundland.
Daryl
You
and a
could
post
see
with
us
you
in
and Bob.
Newfoundland mid-June with our winter hats and mitts on, walking around in the woods up by the coast. Yeah, myself and Daryl, and then had a great day. And I don't know, I'm done. Then the next day I went to Leo's Fish and Chips with Bob.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of time as a healing thing, but we've all been through so much, and I just really I've made a kind of a resolution to our relationship over the past decade has been more litigious than anything else, and I don't want to fight with those guys anymore.
I think after
I'm
COVID,
tired.
I saw a really
Yeah.
huge change in the way Sean has been going about his relationships, and I think he was just like, it can all be gone in an instant. It was even more in your face than
Yeah.
obviously, because everything that we had worked for with this book had to stop, and he just really made a mental note to like, I'm done. I have to just really be positive about the things that are going on in my life. And with the 30th anniversary of Great Big Sea coming up and his trip coming up, I was like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. So those photos, I kind of knew that he had it in his mind that he wanted to meet up with the guys, but it was really nice
it wasn't.
to see.
It's not
was
always
nice to
easy
see.
to kind of just have those conversations that haven't happened naturally. So, but I really believe that it's one thing to say you want a better world. It's another thing to actually do it and go about and try to just change. We do have our future is unwritten, to quote Joe Strummer, and we do have the power to change. We can really. I think if you really want change to happen in life or in relationships, you can affect it. You can, and part of that is listening. So we spend a lot of time with each other on those things, and I'm really happy I did it. I think they're happy too. Like whatever we said to each other, we seem to have overcome a lot of anger, which is essential. And right now there's 3 of us now that are ready to go. There's only one guy missing now. We got to get Doyle. I got to get a long walk in with him. But I can honestly say that we're.
Well, and he wasn't in Newfoundland.
He wasn't there. No,
Yeah.
he was into it, but he just wasn't there.
Yeah.
right.
So he's in Charlottetown working. But I hope to see him in August or talk to him before then. But there is a desire to really bury the hatchet and hopefully maybe do 1 show or 2. I don't know. But we're already, just by doing that, just by having those conversations that we were all very afraid of, we got together, and you know what, it felt good. It wasn't scary, and even though we still don't agree on many things, we just we agreed that we don't want to fight on them anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And
what do you
sometimes
always-
that's all it takes, right?
yeah. Sean
That's the
always
main
says
thing. That's a
anger-
win. Whatever happens, we've
For
already
sure.
moved forward, which is substantial.
One of Sean's sayings that he always says is anger's the enemy. And it was like I saw him live that out there, and it was
Alan is the enemy.
no,
Just kidding.
he's kidding. That's a joke. No,
Anger is the enemy.
anger's the enemy, and all it wants to do is destroy, right?
Yeah.
So
You're absolutely right.
I saw him putting his, purpose into motion there, and I was so happy just for him to just release and kind of
Yeah.
walk in those steps.
And there was fish and chips as well.
Right.
Thank
Something
God.
that we
helps.
all love.
That helps. Yeah.
Well, I
maybe
spent
the
some
ladies.
time in St. John's in 2016, and I had the best cod and chips of my entire life at the Celtic Hearth.
We just call it fish and chips because to us there
only
was only
fish
one fish.
Is cod.
and that's cod.
Sorry.
FYI. I learned that when I moved there.
Sorry.
So there's fish and then there's trout, but there's fish.
Right. There's fish, and then there's salmon and trout. and
I haven't had it
everything
at the Celtic Hearth. Leo's, and the next time you go back, just go to Leo's and
And be done.
Okay.
That will
And
be
be done with it. Okay. We didn't know. I was a
No.
Newfoundland virgin. I had no idea what I was
no
doing.
such
where I
thing
was
as a
going.
Newfoundland virgin, for one.
Hello.
And Leo's.
I feel like there's two things
Whoops.
now that you're editing out.
It's
No,
gone.
it stayed in. It's in. It's in.
Leo's
care.
Fish and Chips is not a well-known brand or hyped up, and they're just a family business.
Yeah.
There's lots of
Okay.
places that have better marketing, but there's no place that has better fish and chips. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm writing it
I like
down
that. Yeah,
for
very
next
cool.
time.
So to chat quick, I want to hear more about your concert. Yes, I've had the opportunity to enjoy it. But for those that haven't, Sean, can you share a bit about what to expect should they come and see you in September?
Well, I like to sing.
I was worried about what he was going to say. I was like, don't.
No,
Reel 'em
What kind of
I
show
love-
is this?
I love, you guys have been to the show. I just love to sing and I love to get people to sing with me.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't need to travel with a band, because if you're in my audience, you're the band.
Right.
I don't pay the band, but you're the band. And I just, music for me, has always been a big part of my life, both before I sobered up and after. Like, it was always right there when I needed a friend. And I think in the harder times are, the more important and more effective a weapon against despair music becomes. So I take it very seriously, but I enjoy it very much. And
Right.
For me, it's just the best version of me as a human, I believe, happens on that stage when it's me and a small audience in a nice room, and we can go off script and have conversations like this and sing together. I mean, these are things that really bring about real joy, physically and mentally for people. So I just love it for that, and I'll do it as long as I can. Like, if my last day is.
So some stories, some singing, some sing-alongs.
Andrea is now pointing out that I didn't actually answer the question.
You
Specifically say what I do, but I like
As
to
a
change it up.
routine.
I like to change it up. I like to not know exactly what I'm going to do any given night.
Right. Well,
And that's the magic of it too, right?
Yeah,
yes.
it leaves me a little bit terrified before I hit the stage, and that's not a bad way for me to be.
No, that's when passion kicks in, when you are left to just perform or craft or whatever your medium is. Inspiration is, or sorry, what's the word I'm looking for? Not inspiration, improvisation, and building together with an audience can really create some genuine and beautiful moments.
And it depends on the audience too.
Every
like-
audience is different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it depends on what you get back from them.
I
that
have, I have a
energy.
new band every night.
right.
What's your favorite song to perform live?
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't think I've played it yet. Like,
Really?
I think it's yet to be found. I'm still trying to find my favorite.
Okay.
I love a lot of songs. There's not many songs I hate, but I love, every now and then I'll break out a Bob Marley or a Johnny Cash song or a Clash song, or the best songs are the ones that people know in some ways, that people I know that because they associate it with a time in their
Mhm.
lives, and I do too. Like, it's it happens to me, and a lot of those, there's always the great big sea songs that bring back these great memories for people, like you showed us. So I think, especially now, I think after what we've all been through and are going through, I think that these soundtracks of our lives, like, if I can be the DJ that spins that a bit for my own catalog and from whatever I know, I think that's a role I'm ready to play.
So that's fantastic. Now you do the shanties. Tell me,
Yeah.
what is your perspective of the resurgence of, it's like there's shanty culture now. Like,
I know.
are you happy about this, or does it annoy you because you were like, I was on the train years ago
No.
doing this?
Well, they say, what is
Oh my
copying or repetition or repeating or copying someone is the highest form of flattery.
God. Right.
I was gonna
Okay.
say.
All right.
But I've been at it my whole life, and of course I wasn't the first shanty man. I mean, there's been shanty men since the 1800s, and I was born in around 1910, so
Right. Okay. Fair.
not
fair.
the first. But these were songs that I was the shanty man in Great Big Sea. I love them. I was doing a master's in folklore, studying sea shanties. That's why I know so much about them. I always loved them. They're great earworms. They're the rock and roll anthems of their time.
Yeah.
But they were also these songs that people used to while they're doing the hardest jobs on the ship. And they needed to keep people working in time and in harmony, and they used these songs for that purpose, and to get hard things done. And I think that when I saw the pandemic, and to me it seemed like the only way we're going to do this is if we work really hard, and the only way we're going to get through this is together. So the sea shanty is tailor-made for this time. So I started to make the record Shanty Man, which is the new collection. And I was up here singing out these shanties in my little studio here one day, and annoying my family to no end, I would think. Feeling good too, feeling better about it every day. And my son came up and he said, "Dad, you're going to be famous," and he had his phone was on, and he showed me the Shanty Talk phenomena. And it was, it was really cool. All these kids that were, they weren't allowed to gather, but they were gathering on their social media. And for some reason, this is the bizarre thing, they were drawn to this ancient song form. And, they didn't realize, it wasn't lost on me though, because, the folk nerd in me knew that these were songs that were for hard times, and they were going through hard times, and they were drawn to them. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think it lasted long. I think it lasted an internet minute, but for me, it was reassuring. So I finished the record and I kept singing.
Oh,
that's great.
That.
I'm not on TikTok still. I don't know how to do that.
My niece is a teenager, and we would go for little drivey drives around and, listen to each other's playlists. And she's like, "Oh, you got to hear this song. I've never heard anything like it before. It's so cool." And it's the Wellerman. Anyway, it's yeah. And she's like, "Listen to that." I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Listen, sit down. Sit down.
Yeah.
Hold my beer."
That's right.
Listen, I know this is
come and talk to Aunt Lori.
Here's some shanty rock.
Come at me.
Like,
there's some of that great
come here, Emily.
There you go. Like, check this out.
I got
see this fella? See this drunk guy here? He was killing it on the Mary Max and the General Taylor.
So are you a cool dad? Like, are you guys cool parents?
No.
Or are the kids like, "Oh my God, Dad, put the boron away. Oh my God.
Yeah.
My friends don't want to have this at my birthday party. Oh my God."
Yeah. No, we are not the cool parents. Every time they go to school, like when they start a new year, we're like, "So did your teacher," like, because their last names are Aragon McCann, so are both names. And so I always am like, "So do your teachers know who your dad is?" And they're like, "No, God."
They're embarrassed by me.
And then, like, inevitably by mid-year, the word is out because the teachers, and the teachers are like our age, or
right.
They're of an age, and so some of them have been fans, and it's like, "Hey, Dad, can you maybe come in and talk to the class?" And then it's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, you get some cred now. Yeah.
Then the pressure's on.
But you could really step up and embarrass them to no end at those opportunities.
We try every single time.
You really
they're 14 and 16. We're not cool to them at all. So
no. Will be either.
No.
Well, I want to thank you both very much for joining us today. Lori, can you share a bit about where to get tickets to see the show in September?
Well, if you would like to come see the show, and you do obviously want to come see the show.
I do.
Yes, right? You can get
I already bought 2 tickets.
Did you? That's great. We've been closed for 2 years, Sean. That's great. We could use the support. Thanks.
I know. Support live music. That's me.
Absolutely. You can get tickets at theatrewoodstock.com, or you can call our box office, or just message us.
Yeah.
Message us at Mike and Lori on our socials or at our email, and we'll be able to help you out for sure.
Ring Mike and Lori's doorbell at 10 o'clock at night and say, "I would like to buy tickets now."
Yeah, I'm sure everyone knows where Lori lives because she lets pumpkin out on her front porch. So that's her can call for anyone to come find her.
I just got rid of my pumpkin 6 weeks ago.
Oh, dear
Yeah.
Lord.
Because it bothers people.
Pumpkin.
No, it's just like paper mache by that point.
Oh, okay.
But it's a spite sport for me. It bothers people, so I do it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, but we do want to thank you so much for coming out and joining us today. We know you've got a tight schedule, and we're just
we've
so
got to be soccer mom and dad.
Jobs to do.
It's the things that famous people do.
Right.
Is it your turn for the
We're
orange
just
like you.
slices?
We are Uber drivers and
Chefs.
dog walkers.
Yeah, we do dog poop picker uppers.
Poo picker
Oh,
uppers.
yeah.
Do it all.
I think
Are you
we're
bringing
dog-
the orange slices tonight?
No, that's
No.
not our turn.
That's not your turn tonight?
No. And I think they stopped that after U10. So we're good.
Oh,
Okay.
All right. And probably no COVID-y fingers or anything in
Right.
the
I
orange
think
tray.
they just
so,
stopped
yeah.
that altogether.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Wow.
Okay. But thank you guys for coming out. And thank you to our audience and to our listeners and to Rob in the background who's pushing all the buttons. We didn't get a chance to say hi to Rob today.
Good job,
but-
Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Is Rob going to be there when I
And,
get there?
Oh yeah,
Rob will not be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Oh, he will. He says he's coming now. He's gonna buy 2 tickets too.
Yeah.
All right. But thanks everybody for joining us out for coffee.
With Mike and Lori. Bye,
And
everyone.
Sean and Andrea. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Do you have questions, comments, or ideas for a future show? Reach out to Mike and Lori on their social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us at mikeandlorisocials@gmail.com.